Welcome, villains, to episode 108 of the Rules of Villainy. I'm Villain Vince, joined as always by your favorite villain, Villain Andy, Villainous Kirsten, and the captain of the Rules of Villainy competitive team, Jimothy. Actually, his name is Jimmy. But welcome. How are we doing here tonight?
I'm tired.
I'm tired too.
Too darn bad.
Yeah, too darn bad. But you listeners shouldn't be tired. You know what you should do right now? You should stop and hit that subscribe button. We're at 805 subscribers as of recording. We might even just be a little over that. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and we will have a giveaway at 1,000 subscribers. And you're going to want to stay tuned for that. More information about that in the future. Won't be in this episode, but it will be coming elsewhere. So hit that like button as well.
I met our 800th subscriber. You got him to subscribe, Vince.
Yeah,
I
literally. Well, so the story behind that is I sat down at the table. I just saw Discord and Brad, the mayor, was like, "We're at like 799 or 798," and I like pulled it up and I was like, "Okay, guys, I need you all to stop what you're doing right now. Stop building decks. I need you to, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I need you to subscribe right now." So yeah. So I made it happen. As Jimmy should know, though, that is the most un-Vince-like thing that I've done, because usually Jimmy has to be like, "Hey, by the way, he has a podcast you can go listen to." So, all right. Well, we got a lot to do, so let's get into Underworld news. So we were just at GenCon. They had a CCQ there, and they had two invites to NA championships. So they split because the pricing was the same. So I'm going to give a big congratulations to Lucas, which you're going to hear more about later in our main segment, and El Raffion from Luxury Gaming. It's pretty great there. Andy, you want to talk a little bit about the ICL?
Yes, the Rules of Villainy competitive team is in the ICL, the Illumineers Championship League, and we had our first round just hours before we were recording here this episode. Captain Jimmy, Chip, and Andy the Grape all took to the battlefield, and unfortunately we couldn't come away with the overall win, but we did get one win out of the three, and we've got plenty more games left to play. We're going to be taking some of that awesome footage that we recorded and making some great content for you guys coming in the future. So yeah. Keep stay tuned to that. I buried the lead here. In 2 weeks from the time of recording, that'll be less than 2 weeks from the time this comes out, we will be the feature match on the ICL. Make sure you pay attention to our socials as well as their socials. We will be letting everyone know. You'll be able to catch us live on Luke Wonderland's Twitch channel for some...
Or YouTube.
Yeah,
or YouTube.
Yeah. And I think it is the ICL on YouTube. And then it is Wonderland on...
We can do all the
Twitch.
links below stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Do all that in post.
down there somewhere. All right, and then it should go without saying we're gonna be talking about this event quite a bit. The Black Cauldron Cup, which will be October 10th and 11th, with the registration starting, I believe, on the 9th, that Friday before. And it is a 6K weekend, a 5K main event, and a 1K redo event, if you will, on that Sunday, which is going to be super, super exciting. It is going to be at Impact Gaming Center in Fairview Heights, Illinois. You are not going to want to miss this event. I'm just going to say it. It is a great venue. It's amazing. It's fantastic. You're gonna love it. What's that?
They got couches. I mean, what more do you need?
They got couches.
This event is so insane, so extreme. You will have to pay for the entire ticket and the entire seat, but you will only need the edge. Okay, you will be that locked in and It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. So tickets are gonna go on sale on August 10th. So we'll have the link in the description where you could go. I believe we now have it set up that you can go to the RPH and register there, although maybe not. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't tested that. But you can bookmark the event in your RPH though. You can mark that event, bookmark it, get it ready to go. You're not going to want to miss it. We've got a lot of details because it's not just going to be the 6K weekend. There might be some pretty cool side events that are going to happen as well, which we will talk more about as we get closer. And with that, let's move on to our main segment here where we get to talk about GenCon. All right, so I'm gonna start with you, Kirsten. What did you do at GenCon?
I played a lot of Lorcana, and I did some puzzles, and that was a lot of fun. I did a lot of walking. Puzzles. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. How'd you do puzzling?
We did really good. We got 4th in the team's puzzle, right, Jimmy?
Yep. I was there
That's what
too.
I thought. And we were under an hour, I think. And then for the pairs, we beat our time last year, and we were at like 51 minutes, which I was super impressed with, just for myself, honestly. And then I don't remember where we placed. They said they lost the paper, or like something happened to it, and I tried to get the answer on day 2 or the day after, and they were like,
first.
I don't know.
Sounds like first to me.
We definitely went first, but
what about you, Jimmy?
I did some puzzling. I got 4th as well. It's weird.
Were you two on the same team by chance?
It did she does look familiar.
puzzles.
We had cool shirts that we made, and yeah, that was a lot of fun. My wife Julie was there. She's our team captain, and she did 3 puzzle events: team, pairs, and solo. And she got 4th in solo out of like, I don't know, 56 people or something like that. So that was pretty cool. I played a lot of Lorcana. Got myself 2 mats and a bunch of solis and a bunch of other promos from buying too many collection quests in between rounds. Especially when you get a buy, that's dangerous for your wallet because you're like, oh, I can walk by the hall real quick. I got time. So that was fun. I don't really know what it is, but I bought this Riftbound thing that looked like a cute forest collector set, so I'm gonna have to open that.
You got one?
No idea what I ended up buying, but
It's really cool.
it looked fun.
It is pretty.
So yeah, went to the Ravensburger booth, of course. I didn't get the Dragon Shield sleeves this year. I usually like to get the con sleeves, but the times I walked by the booth, it was either already sold out or the line was really, really long this year. In past years, I could go at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon and pick up the convention sleeves, and that just wasn't the case this time. And as much as I enjoy them, I'd rather wait in line for like a Fabled Trove, which I did get, versus some sleeves.
Yeah,
because I can always get dual spec sleeves, right?
10% off. Code ROV at checkout.
There we go. I walk by. I regret not buying them because they were available when I walked by the Dragon Shield booth. What about you, Andy?
I did much the same as I think the rest of us did. I did almost exclusively Lorcana things, unless you count waiting in line. Unless you count waiting in line for Lorcana things as Lorcana things, in which case then it was all Lorcana things from top to bottom. I did, however, get my first couple Pokemon cards. I got this one and this one because my sister said that they're cute and she wanted them. So I got my sister some Pokemon cards. So that was fun. Shopping around at all the vendors. I met Corey Gabi again, and got him to sign a bunch of cards. Made a nice donation to the animal shelter that he supports. And we will actually be using most, if not all, of those cards as prizing in future events or part of giveaways. So, maybe the next time you win something from Rules of Villainy along with a sticker and a custom card, maybe you'll get an autographed Corey Gobby card. So
Yeah.
that was great seeing him again. He remembered us from before. Like Jimmy, I got a couple mats. I beat Vince. That was cool.
I did too.
Man, it was like free wins, right? I'm joking. Vince went on.
Well,
See, the difference here,
I'm just gonna...
difference here is Jimmy beat me and he didn't have to brag about it.
That's because it's not worth bragging about, honestly. Oh,
wow! You can
joking.
take a break and walk across the hall and smack him if you like. Actually,
Just send Buster. He'll take care.
No,
Send
but
him actually.
I did have a really good time playing the coconut format with Vince and Kirsten, and shout out Repo Man. One of our viewers out there joined us. We had a great time. It was like, I don't know what, 2 a.m. in the morning.
It felt like it.
It was like 8 a.m. It was like 8 p.m., but it felt like 2 a.m. And so we all kind of just like took a nap halfway through the coconut match in order to be able to finish it. That was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I mostly also did Lorcana though. I did for the first year though clear my Saturday of events. So I could like walk around the hall and demo games and do some other stuff. Which is also really good. I was able to talk a lot with Jeff at Additional Inc. or more commonly I think folks know him as Ninja Harley. Although people are starting to call him Ink Daddy now too. So, which is a nickname he hates, which, as we all know in how nicknames work, will stick immediately. I was like, I'm so sorry, buddy. You're gonna be called Ink Daddy and you know it, don't you?
He's actually, he may be soon leaving Team Additional Inc. He may be getting poached by Red Bull. I hear he's gonna become a Red Bull athlete.
Performance.
Yeah,
peak
performance. That meme is great. I'll try and remember to throw it up on the stream. If not, you just have to go look at Mr. Burns.
Shout out Mr. Burns
on Twitter.
So yeah, so it's cool like hanging out with him for a little bit. I demoed Flesh and Blood. I gotta say I didn't like it.
Brother,
was it the flesh or the blood?
Which part didn't you like?
Yeah, neither really. It just really not my game style at play at all. Also, I will say like I was watching folks. I didn't get into the demo because I just didn't have time, but I watched folks play it, which is Cyberpunk, the new TCG that's coming out later this year as well. Really interesting, has some pretty unique mechanics and gameplay, has some similarities to Lorcana, but like some differences as well. Trying to find a unique space about it. Looks pretty cool. Wish I would have gotten an opportunity to play it. There were a lot of TCGs demoed at GenCon this year.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are we listing TCGs that won't be here in a couple of years that were at GenCon this year? Because I could add to that list. You see the horror one?
Hellbound,
Hellbreak.
Hellbreak, that's
Hellbreak.
it, right? Yeah.
I heard good things about that from the people who tested it or whatever.
People liked it. Naruto was being tested as well. I didn't get into that. Pal World, I believe it's called, was also being tested. Maybe it's actually exists as a game. I don't actually know. Is it?
Yeah.
Is it released?
It like released the same day as GenCon, right?
Oh, so this was their release. I got you.
Boxes went from like $50 to $100 the next day to $200 the next day to sold out the next day.
Wow.
And Power World is just like Wish.com Pokemon, right?
It's Pokemon with guns.
Whoa.
Basically.
Whoa, demonetized. There we go. We got
Pokemon.
I demoed some board games, but honestly, I spent a lot of time playing Lorcana, hanging out with folks at the Lorcana area, chatting with other content creators, chatting with folks that are fans of the channel, and meeting folks, talking with Ravensburger employees like bugging Tito, Greg, and Naomi. Which honestly, I was glad to see Naomi. I know people are sick of me talking about my trip to Melbourne, but it was really great to see her. So we could chat about some stuff as well. But yeah, it's honestly, I always love Gen Con. It's a, I think for me, it's a great experience. It's always a little overwhelming with so many people there because we were just there like a month ago for our TLC. And now you come back a month later for Gen Con and you're like, oh my God, there are so many more nerds here that love gaming of all sorts of variety. I was fortunate enough to win a playmat. And then at my last event, Brian, who I played in a previous event, he had never gotten a Sully. Funny enough, because he was going to buy the mystery bag that Ravensburger was selling to get the Sully. And then he saw what I got and he was like, no, I'm good. I'm not going to buy that. And he'll win it in an event. And he just never did win it. And so he's like, I'll trade you the mat for the card. And I was like, sure, that seems like seems like a good enough trade. And somebody came up to me wanting they had the 2024 mat and I had the 2025 playmat, and they're like, would you trade? And originally I was like, no, I don't need the 2024 playmat because I already have it. But then I was like, what do I care? Like, I don't need 2 2025 playmats. So I just traded him so he could have the 2025 playmat. And now we have the 2024 playmat, which will be used for prizing for some sort of rules of Villainy thing at some point in the future. So stay tuned for that.
Should have we need some sort of list online where people can go and see all of the rules of Villainy prize items that we've been accumulating, because at this point we have an insane amount. We just got to get to 1,000 subscribers. When we get to 1,000 subscribers, it's going to be like when you hit the pinata, just the right spot and just candy everywhere.
It should go without saying that I also finished 12 of your uncompleted quests that you bought throughout the event and stuff, that I was just like,
thank you.
I was like, here's is like, I'm not gonna finish. I was like, give them to me.
Listen,
I'll do them.
Also, to be fair, I technically did kind of complete them because we had helped Mr. Burns and Mrs. Burns complete their collection quest with my cards that I had. And I just gave her them and I said I didn't want them back. And then when you came up and you're like, oh, we should do these, she handed you the cards that were from me anyway to go turn them in.
Yep. Yeah. So we only really had to finish 2 quests in order to get them done. So it actually didn't really take all that long, which was nice.
Yes.
But it was nice to be able to get all those violet pars for future prizing. It's wild for a card that was so easy to get at both DLC Indianapolis and at Gen Con is still kind of expensive on TCG Player.
I mean, easy to get, as in you got to pay $18 a piece for them.
Yeah, but I mean, you think about it, you
got to go to the event.
Yeah,
you do have to go to the event, but you get 3 packs for it, which basically is MSRP on packs, and then you get the promo.
Yeah, but I get bulk rares that are worth a nickel, so I need that $15.
I'm sorry. How many chanties did you pull, Jimmy, at Gen Con?
2.
How many?
Right.
I was gonna say,
you pulled a Winnie the Pooh, so that's like 5 enchanted.
Whoa! Didn't you all pull enchanteds at Gen Con this year too?
I pulled nothing. Let me clarify that. I didn't pull squat. Okay.
Okay, but
not a single
Andy,
one of those good cards came from me.
But Andy, I think, did, right? Andy,
I did indeed. I pulled a Merida enchanted from this current set, the purple one. Unplayable, but it was enchanted.
It's pretty. I really like it.
I also got a Dash and Violet Par, and then I proceeded to open 4 1-cost dashes and 0 Violet Pars or other dashes at all. So I couldn't play that enchanted either. I then did a starter deck Chaos, and I was gifted by the Lord Gantu himself, the Amethyst Steel Arcasia's Island Illusions deck. Before they actually had all the illusions in the game. And that single pack that I got gave me a Return of Hercules enchanted, which was pretty cool. And then the wildest of them all, I had a Wilds Unknown pack that the foil slot was a cold foil discard. The yellow one with the QR codes on it and stuff.
So you got 3 enchanteds and a foil discard.
Yep.
Nice.
And when I asked I was talking to the judge about it, the lore guide, and they and I were both kind of curious, what would happen if this was a much more competitive event. I'm at Worlds doing Super Sealed and I open a discard, and according to he went and talked to one of the head judges, or confirmed with some other judges, and they came back and said that I would have to keep the entire pack contents together, and I'd have to trade in the whole pack, including the discard, for a new pack. And I was like, I'm gonna keep my discard. We'll just play one card down. That's fine. And so that was an interesting ruling that I learned. But that was fun.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because in those particular competitive level events, they require you to write down what's in the sealed pool, and then you still submit a deck list based on what you've built. And at these events, they don't.
And they also open them ahead of time, don't they?
Generally speaking,
for
they
Worlds
do. Yes,
the packs.
I was watching. So the way it was really cool. Honestly, if people are really interested in this, I would really highly recommend watching the was it like the Universal I don't know what Star Wars Unlimited calls it, but they had their big championship like the weekend before GenCon, I think. And one of their things, I don't really understand what was going on. I just was watching them do the draft portion, and yeah, they had all the draft packs already open, but they were just banded together, each of them. And so then they would unban them and then do them. So they knew what was going to be in the packs.
I don't like that.
The players didn't know what was in them.
I don't like that.
But the staff knew what was going on there.
I don't like that. I don't really like that.
Anyway.
I'm fine with it. I think it eliminates this issue that you said, which is what happens if you're in a competitive event and somebody gets a foil discard or something like that. Well, that pack would just never be included.
No, I want the discard.
So it kind of eliminates that issue. So I guess the thing here is we rerunning GenCon next year.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no D23 next year, so there's less events. It'll depend on the schedule. I don't mind GenCon. Indianapolis has Wawa and a good cheesesteak place. Shout out Hops and Hoagies. We're gonna go back for the hoagie eating DLC in a couple months here. But I don't know. My biggest problem is that GenCon is so large and has so much awesome stuff that every time I go, I know that I'm always missing 80+% of the stuff, and it kind of is a bummer, right? I have a ton of fun and I get to see a lot of stuff. I see my friends and I play a lot of Lorcana, and I even get to do things like the vendor hall, and I bought the same Riftbound tree box that Jimmy bought, except I know what's in it. And I
bought it as well.
Okay, Jimmy and I actually know what's in it. Vince doesn't. Jimmy plays League. Vince is just this thing's shiny. But I don't know. I know that if there are competing events with GenCon, I wouldn't guarantee. GenCon is not guaranteed a slot. Let's just say that. Okay. I've got.
What would they do? A CCQ?
What?
what would be the competing event though? CCQ at
not
best?
necessarily like on the same weekend, but just like, in the same time frame, right? If I can
You know, like
only afford to go to like Worlds at Disney World or Worlds to Japan
Probably do
Disney, if
that,
that's what it is, or something, and it's around the I may have to sacrifice one of the many trips I take, all these DLCs, CCQs, 5Ks, things like that. And so
I'll take pictures for you. Don't worry.
yeah, that's fine. Like I want to go to Gen Con.
Yeah.
I just,
I-
if I'm
my
gonna
big
do all Disney Lorcana, I might as well do an all Disney Lorcana event, right?
Yeah.
Then I'm not
So
missing anything.
Jimmy, you're going. Kirsten, I imagine your answer is very similar to Andy's.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, one of us isn't going to go without the other, so.
Yeah.
What if you're puzzling?
I will say this is I think
I do really
I've-
like the puzzle with Julie and you guys.
so a few things that I will just throw out there for that is one is I think you don't have to do Lorcana all 3 days. You could do other things that you want to do. And I think don't get me wrong, I think there's pricing associated that we all want to get and stuff, and we don't want to have situations where we were like last year where like we didn't get a mat till you thankfully like let me get a mat, but you all didn't get a mat until like pretty late in the event, all of you. But I think one good news we'll say is going forward, given that mats are going to be a pricing of CCQs, the mats are going to be a little bit more common, so they might be a little bit more affordable, so they won't be as Gen Con exclusive. So you can go and have fun and do other things while you're there. And then the other thing I'd say is that I get the sense that Gen Con is going to be very important every year for Lorcana that isn't D23. So like this year, they're going to put a lot of that info dump into D23 because that's Disney's big event. But I think next year we'll get a much more info forward type of Gen Con. And I think that's the cycle that they're going to do. Because last year, I think we got a lot more stuff, information
reveals.
than we did this year. I mean, part of that is that they were releasing the set after Gen Con and not before. Right. I have to say I'm glad I wasn't playing a set that was like 4 months old at that time almost.
One thing I will kind of push back on that is I do feel like Ravensburger, like Gen Con feels like the ugly stepchild for Ravensburger. You're right. We are going to get potentially more info next year when there isn't a D23. But isn't it kind of like Gen Con is where Lorcana all first started, right? Like,
yeah.
And for them to just get pushed aside by D23, like, and then the other thing is that D23 gets exclusive product. The parks get exclusive product. Cruise ships, giant tin cans in the ocean get exclusive product. Gen Con, the birthplace of Disney Lorcana, a premier. Ravensburger has been like a premier sponsor of Gen Con for even before Lorcana was a thing. Like, they're not just like another vendor at this show. And we get what? A Fabled Trove? A Fabled
Trove. Hey. The year 2, I got a pin. Okay. Year 2, I got a gold.
You got a pin, right?
No, I agree with you. So I think this is a good point to maybe talk a little bit about the fact that I do think their offerings at the booth this year were a little underwhelming. I mean, the fact that they ran out of troves for Attack of the Vine before they ran out of Fabled troves
every day
is wild, insane.
Didn't have Wilds Unknown.
Not Wilds. I meant Attack of the Vine. Sorry.
I know.
Yeah.
I was just...
Yeah. No, you're right. Thanks for correcting
Jimmy.
me.
We got him. No, I wasn't correcting you.
You said the right thing.
You said
did I say the right thing?
You said you said it was wild, and I just said no. They didn't have Wilds Unknown.
It's a joke.
See. Anyway,
got him.
Got him. Anyway, And let's be honest, like it was cool that we got the pre-release of the Great Honey Rescue. And if you haven't checked out the video that Kirsten and Andy did yesterday, you should go check that out. They ultimately didn't beat the game itself
We were
because it
this
beat
close.
them because it's very, very
We're
hard.
literally this
but
close.
They did come very close. But so that was cool. But I agree, like they should have had the like heroines collection at Gen Con. You know, they should offer like the D23 collection at Gen Con. Like that should be or like
We'll play
maybe
that.
not the collection quest, maybe it's the poo mat. Yeah, exactly. Like they offer something that you can get there. And I gotta say, I think this is one area where I think other companies do a little bit better. And I don't know that this is a Ravensburger thing or a Disney thing, but like Asmodee, go on.
Just to chime in on that, I really think that no matter what, if Disney is saying we need an exclusive product for you for D23, they're going to have something that you can't get anywhere else because that's how D23 works. That's how it works for the pins. It's how it works for Funko. It's how it works for Loungefly, and how it's how it works for every company that they work with and they lend out their brand to. They probably go, "Hey, we have D23 this year. Give me a product to sell for this exclusively."
Yeah.
So I while I want the same things specifically for D23, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that no matter what, if Ravensburger is releasing the kind of product at D23, it's only going to be available at D23.
Or at least it's only going to be available at D23 first. You might get it later, like they did with the D23.
Maybe.
And I think that's completely fair. None of us are saying.
I thought the D23 boxes were also sold at Disney World.
They were sold later.
They were.
So it was the way that worked was it was released at D23. People were like, "Oh my god, this is so cool." Then they did an exclusive release at the Disney stores. And then like 6 months later, they did the EQL. The EQL. My thing is like what I really appreciate is and I'll be honest, I don't play Star Wars Unlimited, but they have convention exclusive products. And what they did is they had raffles, like but like you go online, you enter a lottery. And much like they're almost doing the exact same thing for D23, and it gives you a purchase window. And then there was a window at the Asmodee booth that you walked up and you picked up your convention exclusive thing. And I think this solves a lot of things that Ravensburger has struggled with at Gen Con for several years. Long lines, because here's the thing. It's like, if you got a Fable Trove at the beginning, you don't have to worry about sitting in line. You could go pick it up at 3:00 or 2:00 or whatever. And two, they can use, just like they're using a D23, they can use your badge ID. So you can only get one product. You can't enter more than one. You get it once and that's it. And I think that just helps some of these issues that maybe were there and makes the whole just experience a little bit better for the whole event. But yeah, I agree with you, Andy, on the sense that like it does feel like ever since the game has released, Gen Con has not been the special child of the game that it should have been. Yeah, it has. I agree with that.
And I'm not asking for, it would be nice to get the Heroines collection. It'd be nice to get the Pooh mat. Give us something else. I mean, even the year that you got a pin is cool. But like,
it's free as well. I like that.
Yeah, but like, how much do you care about Gen Con, Ravensburger? Like, it doesn't cost that much. In fact, it probably makes you money no matter what you make. No matter what you make, you're just printing money. We will pay for it. We will. So like, that's not the problem here.
I mean, even something like I know they've gone away from this with the whole promo thing, but I gotta say, ever since they've introduced like the Attack of the Vine, like where they stamp Attack of the Vine on the cards now.
The what?
What?
What was it called?
Tag of the
The promos.
Vine.
There you go. There you
Sorry.
go.
Thank you. Yeah. Is the honestly, I thought there was something wrong with my audio because there usually always is. So I was like picked out. But you know, I think they could stamp like the GenCon logo on the card, you know, and make a GenCon exclusive, you know, promo card. I mean, that I think is like the bare minimum, right? And we don't really get that. Instead, it's here are convention promos, right? You know, these are promos that they maybe this GenCon will be the only time you see these. Actually, won't because they're going to be at so many other events.
PAX East, PAX West, all the European conventions.
Well, I'm saying, but
on
they only do these convention promos during very specific conventions, although they do seem to bleed in a little bit. But anyway,
TCG Best.
I guess that's my little rant. But yeah, I'll be doing it next year because I like GenCon. I just hope I get a hotel with air conditioning this time around.
How do you feel about beds? You want one of those?
Preferably dry.
Don't get Jimmy started on hotel trouble.
Let me just put it this way.
Sounding better as the weekend went on. It sounded pretty rough the first night.
Yeah, were gonna.
Just what I would just say is, don't book the Columbia Club. That would be a place I would not recommend. I was joking. Honestly, you may have to cut this because it might be better for Rules of Villainy After Dark. But that hotel gave a hotel you take mistresses to and not your wives to vibes.
Yeah, I only have the wife. So.
Anyway, yeah. Let's move on to the CCQ. So I should say GenCon had a CCQ for the event. They gave out 2 awards for it, which we talked about. And we were lucky to be able to get an exclusive interview. Well, not exclusive. I shouldn't say exclusive. We got an interview.
We're the only show that's going to have this exact interview.
This is true. This is an exclusive.
Nobody else has this audio and video.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're gonna go ahead and cut to that interview with Lucas. Hey there, Lumineers. It's Phil and Vince. I'm here with our CCQ winner at GenCon, Lucas, in the penguin suit. Yeah. How's it going?
It's going amazing. It's a couple days after the event, and I'm starting to cool down, but I still can't believe it.
I was watching your last match, and you were so happy that you won. What were you feeling when you finally won that last match?
I mean, I was just filled with emotions. I could only think about so many things at once. The biggest thing I thought about, I'm going to nationals, and that's the biggest, most important thing.
That's awesome. So what deck did you end up bringing to the CCQ?
I bought red, purple, or ruby amethyst.
Ruby amethyst, all right. That was one of my favorite decks. I started out with that deck. So why did you choose ruby amethyst for the CCQ?
The main thing is that I love playing purple, and purple is my favorite color in Locana. And I was going to go with ruby amber until Peter Pan was released, and I was like, I got to go with ruby amethyst. That's
awesome. So tell us a little bit about your matches throughout the day. Were there any challenging matches you had?
The one match I lost was against Circle Life with Retro.
Okay.
So that was a pretty tough matchup because they can board wipe my board on turn 4 or something.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. So I wasn't able to win that one, but I was able to win all the other ones.
Yeah, that's awesome. What do you think is the worst matchup for your deck?
I gotta say Retro or Boosties.
Okay, Boosties. You didn't run into any Boosties yesterday, did you? So you got a little lucky there. So in that final match, you were playing Garrick.
Yes.
And I believe he's on the Pocahontas deck. And you just kind of seemed to your deck seemed perfect for that matchup. How did you feel pretty confident going into that match?
I felt pretty confident, especially since I played 5 matches of that deck before that game, and I knew that if I get Luisa out, the one that can move all that damage, I can win the game.
Yeah. And so you got that in 2 out of 3, right? You just
I got it 1 out of 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, awesome. So, how excited are you now to have your qualification to go to the NA Championship?
I'm super excited, but the only downside is that I have to skip school, and who says that's even a downside?
Well, what is your favorite subject in school?
My favorite subject is math, and my favorite thing about math is it's a puzzle, and Volcan's a puzzle.
That is awesome. I think it's great. Thank you so much, Lucas, for joining us. You want to shout out anybody on the podcast?
I would like to shout out, I have a YouTube channel called TGC Penguin, and shout out to all my locals who helped me get to this moment and taught me how to play the game.
That is awesome. Well, I hope to see you at NA Championship. I might be a lore guide there. Good luck, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, bye. All right, that was pretty great. Wasn't it great hearing from the winner of the CCQ?
Great to see all the kids out there doing great.
Did you see him?
Yeah,
when
it was really awesome. Yes, that's what it threw me off. Like I felt so like I was sitting there playing. I think we were all in the same event. I don't remember. Me and Andy were in the same event, obviously, but like my back was turned to him playing, and he was playing Garrick.
That's next, yeah.
So like really great player. He was on Amber, Emerald, and all of a sudden you just hear clapping. So you turn around, and it's like, what kind of clapping is it? And you see him just like crying, and then you see his dad. He's also crying, and I'm like, are these happy tears or are they sad tears? I don't know what's happening.
No,
and then finally was like, no, he won, and I'm like, that's amazing.
The thing is I knew the moment Garrick sat down to that match, he was cooked for that match. Unfortunately,
well,
it's a pretty unfortunate,
really
for
bad
Garrick,
matchup for him. And Lucas is such a good player too. It's crazy though. It's like people feel like, oh, Garrick, at least you lost. Like it was like at least as a kid, it's like, mate, leave him alone. Like it still sucks to lose when you're almost there. I mean, I'm so happy for Lucas. Like I think it's so great because it's really great to see kids do really well in this game and in competitive events, because this is not an easy event. There were a lot of competitive players in that event that were trying to get their qualification to the championship. And so super impressive, but that's just the way that goes with certain matchups.
It's the way the cookie crumbles.
I believe that was the last CCQ of the season too. The next CCQ is D23, and that's technically season 2. And that's only in
season 3. We're going into season 3.
Was there not a CCQ? Oh, you know what? I think that was this was the last weekend of because there was another, I think, CCQ that occurred.
Oh yes, I believe.
But it was after the other China. Like China already had their continentals, and so this one, this weekend was in the next, and then Ink was quote unquote just like 3K, I think.
Right.
Oh, so it wasn't a CCQ.
Oh,
so it was the last CCQ then.
All right. Well, I don't keep track.
Anyway,
trying to, but yeah,
I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah, and it was won by Ruby Amethyst. How's that make you feel, Andy?
Both top people were Ruby Amethyst. It was 6 Emerald, Amber, and 2 Ruby Amethyst, and they cooked. So I think what it does is it like at the very least it like shakes up the meta, right?
Yep.
Like everyone thought. I mean, the clickbait was just all Amber Emerald all day, and now like you've got a ton of people who are inspired to play Ruby Amethyst again, that are hopeful that now their deck that has a decent matchup into Ruby Amethyst, so now their deck becomes more viable in the meta. All kinds of sort of butterfly effect things happen from this taking place. So I'm very happy to see it, and I'm excited for what it will bring.
Yeah. All right, let's get on to the last thing that we did at GenCon, which is bracket format coconut bracket, the beta test of this new multiplayer format that they are testing out. So we're going to get our captain's first opinion on this, because you actually have more experience with this format than the rest of us. Do you want to tell folks about that?
Yeah, so as you may or may not know, at DLC Indie, the people in the VIP room had access to a couple developers. Kyle was there when I went in and played, and they brought a handful of coconut decks. And sort of after we signed our NDA, they walked us through the new game mode and asked, for tons of feedback, just like they did at GenCon, minus the NDA. And I got to play the Princess Song deck with Ariel, and it was really fun to be able to see, like, I think the parts I like about it is it's not just another multiplayer format with a bonus zone of a card you can play. Instead, it's like a unique ability that instead of just what are the best cards in the 2 colors or 3 colors or whatever multiplayer format gives you, gives you a build direction. And so for the princess deck, I'm like, oh, I want tons of princesses and tons of good songs. It's not just what are the best amber, sapphire, and steel cards or something. So that's a lot of fun, and being able to have 4 copies of like your coconut character is cool, but instead of having like that bonus zone that other games have, so it's not you always have this character on turn 3 or whatever. It's like you're more likely than any other card, but it still keeps that sort of variety aspect of the format that's fun, as opposed to I feel like the less consistency of specific cards appearing is good, and it makes it fun, similar to Sealed, that once you ink a card, you're like, okay, that card is gone. I'm not like, oh, I'll ink one Demona and get one, later in the game. And so I think it pushes you to unique inking decisions and things like that.
Absolutely.
Kirsten, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I also played the aerial deck. Obviously, I played it at GenCon after the announcement, so I had time to build my own deck, which was certainly a lot of fun. Lots of enchanteds, lots of shiny cards, but like Jimmy said, it's more about building around your character's special abilities. So I thought it was just fun being able to pick out all the like different characters that would never work in like a meta deck. Cards that you've like never played or haven't played since Sealed of set 3. So it's just a lot of fun for something different. So I definitely know that it's something that we'll do on occasion to, alleviate the grind of just meta.
Yeah. Andy?
Yeah, I think on that topic, let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on format coconut. I'll give you mine here in a second, but like Kirsten said, we've definitely been trying to cook up, some ideas for bringing you some maybe coconut live streams or some coconut gameplay.
We're going to.
Yeah, because I'm very intrigued by it. There are sort of 2 things that I kind of took away from the format coconut. I was immediately drawn to the Honey Wizard ability. Anything that is repeated draw engine is top tier, in my opinion. And it for those that don't know, it says whenever you play a character with no abilities, you may pay 1 to draw a card. So when you play vanillas, that is true vanillas, no French vanillas, no evasive, no ward, no support, bodyguard, etc. And I built that deck with a nice curve all the way up to like 4 or 5. I wanted to play like the Steel Gantu, that quest for 4, a lot of really big questers. And I practiced against Kirsten, and I realized that like all of my big characters were just kind of a liability. I didn't really want to pay 5 cost for a 5/5 that quests for 2, Winnie the Pooh Honey Wizard, let alone 6 cost for a 5/5 that quests for 2 and draws a card. Why wouldn't I just be playing like Genie, right? It's a 4 cost quest for 2 and draws a card. Why wouldn't I just be playing better cards in those slots? So I pivoted to just an oops all 1s and 2s. with just the occasional 3-drop that quested for 3 to try and push the lore past that. And that worked, but the realization became that this was the most single track, one brain cell, easiest game plan of Disney Lorcana that ever could possibly exist. We're talking like you don't even need the paid tier of artificial intelligence to like be able to, you know, learn how to like, this was so simplistic. I had no other choices other than to play a card, draw a card, play a card, draw a card, just empty. Granted, that worked, right? Like that was very impactful. I was clearly leading the game the whole way. But that brings me to my second thing, which is something I've talked about before, so I won't dwell on it a lot, is that multiplayer games ultimately come down to this part where you are either, you know, you are either one of the people that is about to win, you and maybe one or two other people, or you are the person that is about to decide who wins, because you can't win and all you can do is stop one other person from winning, and then the other one will win. And then you're like, well, you know, so the game somewhat doesn't get decided by skill so much as it gets decided by you know, target choice, right? Which can be political, as some people will say. Like it can be just like, you know, your podcast co-host, you know, hating on you and just like purposefully going after you, you know, maliciously, and like taking out all of your characters even when it's not the right decision in the game. And you know, but like, hey, that happens. Like that but it, even if that doesn't happen though, it's still very possible that, you know, you're just sitting there like, well, shoot, I don't win. Who do I want to win? You know, friend 1 or friend 2? You know?
Yeah.
Kirsten, do you have any idea what he's talking about?
No, I don't.
Yeah,
All
I
I know
don't
is that I
either.
won.
Yeah.
I won fair and
And-
square.
In fact,
do have
I would
stuff.
actually really like to insert right here, right now, that that meme of would you like to make an alliance with me? Because that is exactly what happened. But I think that happens in all these multiplayer kind of card games. That's just how that dynamic works, right? I really like it. I play a lot on multiplayer. It is probably one of my like favorite kind of aspects of the game because it is such a social experience. I don't recommend doing it at 9:00 on after you've been playing the game for so long competitively and doing other things. But you know, I think it's a great like kitchen table format. It's a great format to have at DLCs. My by far biggest feedback to Ravensburger on this, and it's something that I hear from people all the time so far since the format has been released, is they need to make pre-constructed decks for this format, because the deck building of this format is so wide open. It is hard to know where to start. And I think if you create a pre-con deck with you know, you can go into your Target or your local game store or whatever, and you see it on the shelf and it's like Tinkerbell, which is the deck that I have. I like that card, I'm going to buy it, and that deck is ready to play. And then you know, your friend buys, you know, the Winnie the Pooh or the Ariel, and they sit down and then they can play immediately, and they can be like, you know what, I really like this game, I'm going to go buy some packs, and maybe I'll make some changes to this pre-con deck. I think that is by far the one thing that I think will hold this format back is deck construction. You know, because unlike a normal 60 card deck where you have 2 ink colors, you put a lot of 4 of copies. You know, put 2 ofs and stuff. Very rarely do you put like, you know, I mean, I know like you've got the Frank Karstens deck builders of the world that do a lot of 1-ofs, but a lot of people are repeating the exact same card in a singleton format. Now you're expanding it to 3 ink colors. in this format, there are no banned cards, so you can play your Hiram. Because guess what? You only get a one of him anyway. So it doesn't really matter. And so you can play all these cards. You got 3 ink colors. You know, maybe it's not. I mean, I think it's overwhelming today. It's probably only going to be more overwhelming as like the time goes on. So that is my big thing.
I think pre-cons for this format would be really awesome, especially because they would probably include a lot of one-ofs of maybe harder to find cards, or the slightly, Kirsten's deck had a ton of enchanteds and high rarity cards in it, but you also are usually playing one of a lot of like legendaries and things like that, and especially in some of these formats, they can put to use some of the more unusual legendaries that we've seen printed. But at the same time, I think
an Angel, a Demona, just one of them in the deck. Nice.
Well, I'm just gonna say there is a card game out there, which I won't name, that has a format in which they do pre-constructed decks and they sell max rarity pre-constructed decks in that format.
That's pretty crazy. But I do want to say though, I think there, you may be underestimating, Vince, that there is a group of people that aren't necessarily good at deck building in a competitive standpoint and essentially just shop through their cards. And if they only ever need to pull one of, it kind of makes it easier for them because they don't have to make a choice on the 15x4 cards that they're going, the best cards for their deck.
Cards I own that deck.
Right. It's more forgiving in the sense that, like, if you play a bad card, you're only playing one of them, right? So, like, you have to let it. So I think you're right. I agree. Pre-cons would be great. There are some of these that like are harder, I think, to build for than others. I think they need to release more coconuts. I think as this expands, like the vanilla one, for instance, is the easiest deck to build for ever. There's really not that many ways you can do it. The hardest part about it is filtering your favorite website to view cards by vanilla, because they don't usually filter that way. So it can be easy to build for, but you're right. Some of them can be the deck you played, that Tinkerbell deck. I hadn't thought I hadn't tried to build one for that. I helped Kirsten build her princess one. I built the
you didn't help me with
one.
mine. I made my own deck.
I thought I helped you. But I looked at a couple of the others. I looked into the Dumbo one as well. But I hadn't looked at the Tinkerbell one. And some of the cards that you were playing, like as you were playing them, I was like, wow, that's a good inclusion in there. I didn't think about, like that one seemed like a harder one to build. So it'd be nice. Yeah, it'd be cool to see. Also, even if it isn't hard to build for, I just would love to see the developers' concept on this, right? I try to convince Rav Kyle to give me some tips on my coconut deck, whether I should go oops all 1s and 2s or whether I should go for a higher curve, and if he had any testing on it or any data that he could share with me. And he basically told me to go with my heart, which is
we did learn one thing, though. We did learn one thing, which is you don't have to play your coconut card.
You do not. Which you should not if it's Winnie the Pooh Honey Wizard, in my opinion.
So,
professional Honey Pooh. I got second place in my match, if there is such a thing.
No, if you're not first, you're last.
Yeah, probably.
All right. Any last thoughts? Yeah, go for it, Jimmy.
One interesting thing I think they should do, this is a bit of a tangent. Continentals, one of the events they have is core constructed casual. And the pricing is you get like 120 ticks for participation, and then like 120 per round, win or lose, doesn't matter. You get that ticks, and so people get to play their fun deck is the idea. And I think flat pricing like that for multiplayer and for coconut would be really good. So people that want to play the more chill event. Still get tickets, and it doesn't matter that the end is a king making scenario because you're not going to be upset. I didn't lose out on 1,000 tickets because this stranger to the left of me decided that the stranger to the right of me should win. It just doesn't matter. I feel like that would be a good route to go. As well as people I'm sure will play just pickup games. But when it comes to playing with friends, you can find enjoyment, like Vince said, in the social aspect, and it's more about the journey than the destination. You talk about that cool play you made. You don't really talk about who won the game that night. But when it comes to playing with randoms, I think having sort of flat pricing will go a long way.
I
Yeah.
100% agree. That sounds like a really, really good idea. And,
Yeah.
you can have that one for free, Ravensburger. The next one, however, will cost you.
All right. Well, there'll be more to come with the format Coconut in the future here, but let's turn to the ICL and let's discuss Jimmy. You had your first match tonight. You want to tell the folks a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was fun. This is the first like real webcam type league that I've done. There's so many people here in St. Louis to play with that I never really like got into a lot of the other webcam leagues that are out there. But it was pretty smooth. I was able to see my opponent's cards and hear them clearly. So at least shout out to them for having decent equipment. And yeah, it was fun. The whole mulligan situation is kind of interesting. Like you put 3 different piles, and you have like a 1, 2, and 3 die on there, and they basically say, okay, put 3 on top of 1, and then put that stack on top of 2, and that's sort of how you cut, or not mulligan, yeah, cutting the deck. And making being hyper aware of like I can't take my hand off the table. I don't want to do anything like that. But
Yep.
it seemed easier than maybe I initially had thought.
Well, we did great. Our whole team, I think, had a very acceptable to above par setup, both audio and video.
Yeah, it is crazy how even adding like a little like those boxes from League that you get in the OP kit, I put like my camera on top of that, and like just those extra couple inches of height gives you a lot more like depth of the feel that you can show.
Yeah, we're used to that overhead camera angle too, instead of that sort of straight on. So it's a whole production. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we just need giant dice. That's always the issue with streams. Giant dice.
Yeah, I ordered some of those from Vince. So.
Yeah, the ones we use for the impact stream. But yeah, we'll have more content about the ICL here in the coming days to weeks because we're in this for the whole season 4. So stay tuned to that. With that, Andy.
Yeah, we had wanted. This is one of my many ideas that's going to go. It's called Villain Support Center. It's the subtext of the Bonanza card there. It's going to go in the segment that Jimmy's helping me make, where I talk about all of the content ideas that I have that I'm not actually making. But see, this one just got pulled from that list. We're actually going to do this here. We had a question from one of our viewers, Incubus828. Let's go ahead and bring this up on stream. They are working on a BattleBots deck. This Amethyst Steel list. They were heavily inspired by Blazin Azen, one of the.
Sure.
I think they did. Where did they placed like top 8 in a CCQ or something, right?
They got third at the Millennium Games CCQ, along with 2 of their Shark Slab teammates. It was like 3rd, 4th, and 5th. All 3 of them running like the same 60 or 59. They're like all on bots.
So Incubus828 asks, question for the villains. I feel like this deck suffers from card draw the later the game goes on. I don't have any trouble in matchups where the opposing player has no options to remove Syndrome, but against Amber, I feel like there is just enough that I usually have to fight to keep some of my key pieces on the board. I also find that decks with Sapphire have a really good ability to shut me down things like Hades and Let It Go. He says, do we think there might be a better way to draw cards? Or even if I swapped in more bots, maybe to go faster? I have been musing about how I'm not sure why the deck creator didn't want to run the 3-cost bot from set 13, even though in my opinion it's an excellent response to some of the bigger characters that they can put in. So a lot of things to go over there. We've got the list up here on screen. The first thing I wanted to sort of address is card draw here. First off, 4 guidebooks I think is standard, right? That's some of the best, if not the best draw you have there. Unconditional. Demona, you've got 4 of them. That's great. Only 2 Smolder. I think they say in the notes of the deck that they took 1 Smolder out in exchange for another cat. But one thing I like about this list with Smolder is that you have Angel in the deck as well as the Violet Par. So you could even add an additional Angel if you so chose. But that allows you to play maybe 3, potentially even 4 Smolder if you really wanted, right? So if you're running out of the ability to draw cards, you can play more of something like Smolder and not have to worry about it getting an extra one stuck in your hand, because you can always throw it away with Violet or Angel and get some value out of it. The other thing is Hades. I love Hades. I think Hades is pretty good draw. We actually, when I was watching my teammates play in the ICL today, there were several times where Hades, was being played, and Kirsten and I both were kind of like, oh, that character he's gonna wait, he pointed at that one. Like there were several options you could have chosen that I think would have easily elicited different responses from your opponent depending on what you wanted. Hades is, I think, still a very good card. And then, so I think tweaking those numbers can help you with the draw a little bit. Are there any other draw cards you can think of that might be helpful here, Jimmy, Kirsten?
Not that I'm particularly interested in. Comparing to other lists, like, yeah, there's either 3 Smolders or 3 Hades, so like 5 combined for the 2 of those cards, plus the 4 Demona 4 book. I think leaning on the Violet Par and trying to bin more of those high-cost robots for Syndrome to grab you for free. Syndrome's also card draw in his own. He's card advantage. He's not card draw by the letter of the law, but he's getting you an 8 cost for free out of the discard sometimes.
Yeah,
and that's pretty cool. I'd rather draw a specific best card in my deck than draw a random card up the top if I so chose. So I think leaning on that more. I think going over to like the 3-cost robot that a lot of people aren't playing. He was super good and sealed. Love that card. But I think because there are things like Luisa who can drop 3 damage on it, or Cats could put a damage on and shrink it down to a 4/3. There's a lot of Isis as well to like exert and then just trade in something much smaller that can swing 3. I think the reason the 4-cost gets played is because of its 2 damage ping with the shift, and at that point 4/3 is kind of good enough. You don't need the 6. The 6 is good if you can get it to swing into like in the mirror against Syndrome or Demona, things like that. But the 3 can be kind of dicey. Plus, it's like, where do you fit it in? Are you getting rid of Lexington and Benja? Maybe if you're not super worried about evasives anymore or items. But the Benjas can be good if you're hitting up those Kevin decks or boosties to get their diary out of the way. Or even in the mirror or other Amethyst mirrors where they leave a book sitting out because they're trying to optimize sort of Demona, then pop book type of plays. You can sort of catch them out that way.
That can be a really punishing play, I think, to do that.
It's also the only robot that doesn't shift as well, right? I think there is a good bit of value in being able to shift all of these robots on top of all of each other. There was one point in the game, I think it was in Chip's game, he played against bots, right? And they had like the big bot out, and I thought to myself, I wonder if they would ever consider shifting the 4-cost bot on top of their big bot. So you like swing in with your big bot so that you can take something out. The resist is great, or you quest or whatever, and then you shift that bot on top. Now you've downgraded your bot to an extent, but you get to ping 2 damage. And I think at the time, Chip's opponent was, behind, right, trying to catch up on board presence, and so I think having the 4-drop, the 6-drop, and the 8-drop all being able to shift is really, really nice.
Plus, the 8 is also a card advantage because you can return the stack under it. And I've seen some pretty disgusting plays where someone's like 1 cost, and then they shift the uninkable 4 cost on it. Then they do it again another turn, and then they shift the 8 cost on it. They got 3 cards in their hand that they can then double shift again, and it just keeps on looping itself. I mean, that's kind of the whole deck, right? Is Syndrome loops the big stuff, and the big stuff loops the little stuff. So like if the deck is uninterrupted and starts doing all these things, it's going to run really well. And so people obviously are going to try to disrupt you in between there, which I think is also why the 4 strength is actually really, really good, because it dodges red alert and it dodges criminal mind effects. Whereas your 6/3 3-drop, they might just Gaston, boom, done.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gaston, criminal mind. Yeah. I think
the thing is here is like any other draw mechanic you would want to put in this, from previous like Amethyst Steel decks, would just kind of fundamentally change the nature of this deck.
Yeah, like a Dumbo.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe
Dumbo
can be tossed in.
What's that?
Maybe.
Colors of the Wind.
Potentially.
I don't know. I feel like Colors of the Wind. What is that? That's a 4-cost song.
4-cost song. Yeah.
4-cost song that you're
your robot
hoping that you're gonna get like at minimum 2 off of, right? Draw 2, if not more, with Duel Links. So
yeah, minimum you're probably getting 2 because you're most likely playing against Amber, Emerald. That is that kind of thing. Thought going into building something like this. You can sing it on turn 2, though, is really nice with that shift droid after doing 2 damage.
Draw 2, yeah.
Yeah. That doesn't feel that bad, I guess.
I think my recommendation would be for you to keep grinding this deck, keep playing it at locals. And frankly, all of these things that we are suggesting could easily not be good for the meta that you're playing in. It could just, even the things that you're feeling like, oh, it feels like it needs more card draw. Maybe you're just not seeing your card draw at the right time, or maybe you're not playing the card draw at the right time.
Into the card advantage aspects more that aren't just strictly draw a card printed on it. But there are a lot of things that get you, these extra bits of value, like the shift return stuff, Syndrome, etc.
Well, before we move on, I do want to really quickly address here the point they had about Sapphire having a really good ability to shut them down with Hades and Let It Go. What are your thoughts
cooked.
there?
You're cooked. I mean, the Sapphire's not getting run a lot currently. It's probably one of the least played. But I think you do bring up a good point here, Vince, and it's good to point this out, that it's not just Sapphire. Single target removal, you're not necessarily spitting out a ton of characters all at once. You are trying to play bigger and better characters before your opponent. You're playing this mid-range game, and so sometimes you do have these, when you discard with the Violet your giant droid, and you shift your Syndrome and you quest and you get it back, and then they criminal mind it. Like, sometimes that can be,
it's not as bad as Sapphire though, because it's gone forever. When they criminal mind your big robot, you're like, okay, I'll just quest with Syndrome next turn and do it again.
I'll
do it again.
Yeah,
that is fair. So yeah, I mean, maybe just dodge Sapphire. I don't really know that there is much of a choice to get away from that. Like, the other thing is what we saw Lucas had in his deck, that one of, was it Vine Pod?
Pod, yeah.
to get rid of these droids out of your discard. Like, this is a good deck. I think. I think this is a very reasonable build that you're playing here. I would just continue grinding it and maybe changing a few cards here and there and see how it does in different formats. And it'll evolve with the meta you're playing in, and that's really all that matters, right? Go win that. What is the set champs this set?
September.
It's in September.
No, what is the prize?
Oh, so it's the like key art playmat for Attack of the Vine, and then you get I believe a Rapunzel.
The one drop
card. Yeah,
we'll go win that.
Yeah, I will just add to here. I will answer, I think, the Sapphire question here, which is pray that in Hyperia City, a card that has the ability that Pete had gets reprinted.
Ancient Ways exist.
That's the answer you need.
Ancient Ways.
Yeah, keep the Ancient Ways. It's steel as well. I mean, it doesn't stop Hades though.
Yeah, that's true. Doesn't stop.
Neither does Pete.
But it does stop Let It Go. All right. With that, we are gonna skip Constituents Corner here, but I did want to report everybody here because we asked last week, this is a question from Kirsten the Grape. She asked, does Mike Wazowski Kristen the Grape. I'm sorry. Kristen the Grape asked, does Mike Wazowski blink or wink? And we got two responses. We got blink from Crash the Wolf. So a combination of both. We also got, I reckon Mike blinks as cannot wink without a second eye, says your Mark Keenerly 8434.
That's our Irish listener, Vince. You almost certainly pronounced the name wrong, but I can't pronounce it right, so like I can't really.
Well, I apologize. I apologize.
Wait, yes.
But I think those are the answers here. Does anybody here have a thought before?
I think he blinks because, like, usually when you wink, you kind of tilt your head a little and you're a little silly about it. But if you're blinking, it's just kind of natural and just kind of happens. So I think he could do both, maybe, but he probably normally blinks. But he could intentionally wink with a little head tilt.
I feel like blink is plural and wink is singular. And so I think he, by default, always winks. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, no,
I'm not an ophthalmologist, but
I am hardcore going blink here.
Blink.
He blinks. Yeah. So Kirsten,
blink.
All right, there we go. All right, let us know your thoughts about that in the comments down below. We do have more questions, but we're going to answer them next week. But that shouldn't stop you from asking questions, and you can ask questions by commenting on this video, which honestly is my preferred way because I'm going to tell you what, it boosts the YouTube algorithm. I don't understand how it works. Nobody does. But all I know is it does help. So if you write your questions down below, we will answer them. But if you don't want to do that there, you can also join us on Discord where you can write these questions in the Constituents Corner channel. And a lot of folks will come in and chime in and give you their opinion as well. With that, we are moving on to my favorite segment, Villain of the Week.
Apologies to Gantu. So Peter Pan, playful prankster. Maybe Vince is being a playful prankster. He's a 2-cost inkable amethyst card, 1 strength and 3 willpower. Has an ability, stay right there. When you play this character, chosen opposing character can't ready at the start of their next turn. Quest for 1, and flavor text, I've never met a problem I couldn't solve, which I think is really good for this one. And the art is by Maria Dresden, who has 9 unique cards, 2 epics, both are different Annas, and all sorts of fun cards. What are you guys' favorite art of this?
That's a good question. I don't actually know. We always do the artist showcase at the end, so it gives me time to go and like look it up.
Well, but, I was gonna say the favorite part of this card, though, I really think here is honestly just that ability, to be able to say, have that kind of freeze effect, if you will. Also, it's a great shift target for that Peter Pan and Tinkerbell, which honestly is a gorgeous card. For those of you that watched the live stream on my first case opening, know that I did get that enchanted. Very, very pretty. But yeah.
My
Why is
favorite's
this?
Lo-Fi Nani.
Lo-Fi Nani.
Why? I actually did. She did Into the Unknown also.
That's a good
Yeah,
one,
do
too.
not work for that card.
Yeah.
Into the
which I think is
unknown.
But yeah. So
Demonetized.
why is this our villain this week?
So this is our villain, despite being a hero. We give it honorary villain status because it helped Lucas get to that first place with his Ruby Amethyst. And I am sure throughout the day he told many a card, no, you don't get to ready. Sorry about that. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to shift this, and all my stuff's evasive.
Yeah,
and I think it's really good to have these sort of. It's understated, it's a 1/3 for 2, but has a strong effect. And by being able to be a shift target, you can kind of wash away the weak stat line while still getting that good on play effect. And I feel like that's a good sort of measure for shift targets is it's smaller and weaker, but I'm sort of, because I can cash in ability early and then just upgrade its stats later, helps a lot. People did this a lot with Elsa in earlier sets. Even in the first chapter, you had a 3 cost that could exert stuff down. It's okay, and then upgrade it later after it did some board control. Or your 5th spirit gets rid of something, and then upgrade it to Spirit Winner again. And so having things that you get some sort of on play instant ability, and then transform it later while it is sitting on the sidelines waiting.
yeah.
100%.
I played this a ton in limited, and it's actually a really, really good card. Especially because it makes you think. It makes your opponent think that you like pulled one of the Peter Pan Tinkerbells. Meanwhile, you're sitting on like a handful of potatoes. But I saw you played this in your deck today, Jimmy, and you played that. I did the Leonardo DiCaprio meme where I'm like, hey, I know that card. I've played that before in limited. It's in core constructed now. Nice.
You did have to remind your opponent once at least that, like, nope, that Demona is not ready yet.
You have 2 cards in your hand, but yeah, I think it's really good on some tempo plays too, with the Luisa shift or the Mr. Incredible shift, where you can say you're on turn 3 with 3 ink, and they have a character that's exerted that your 1 cost 2/2 can't really deal with. You can play Pan, keep them locked down, play your shift target, and then next turn shift and run into them. And so even though it's a little telegraphed, it gives you these sort of openings as opposed to having them to like quest into your shift target already being on board. Instead, they quest into sort of nothing, you lock it down and set up for the shift.
Yep. They it doesn't matter if it's telegraphed, you can't do nothing about it,
Yeah. You might not want to quest with that Cheshire Cat on an empty board, where in the past, like, yeah, sure, that's fine.
Yep.
All right. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you're joining us on audio, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.
And if you're joining us on YouTube, which if you're not, you really should. We have a lot of fun over here. Be sure to like, subscribe. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers. Ring that bell to be notified of all of our content, including Deck Test Tuesday, the local meta report, all of our live stream pack openings, and everything else we can bring you here.
We understand your time is valuable, so we appreciate you spending some of it with us. If you'd like to follow along as we plot our devious plans, you can find us all on socials at Rules of Villainy. We also have a growing community on Discord in which you can join the link below and share your pet. Also, me and Jimmy have our own socials as well, so you can find me on pretty much everywhere at ROV Kirsten except Instagram at ROV_Kirsten.
And I'm Clesimo3, CLESIEMO3 on Instagram, Twitter, not super active there, but I do exist, and then our Discord, of course.
And hey, I actually just created my own Instagram account, which you can find me at VillainVinceROV, which is really exciting. But until next week, stay safe, fellow villains. Be wary of wannabe heroes who want to disrupt your villainous plans. And as always, remember the rules of villainy.